Hey, are you thinking about a move to the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas? Well, if you are, this video's for you. You're gonna wanna watch it to the very end because we're gonna be talking about the top 5 pros and the top 5 cons about living right here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, and specifically the Fort Worth side of the Metroplex today. So stick around, we're gonna get after it right now. Hey everybody, this is Jason Breitenstein with Living the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas Life. This is your first time to our channel and you want to know more about what it's like to work, play, eat, sleep, breathe right here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, then go ahead and click that subscribe button, ring that bell so you'll get notified every time we put out a new video about life here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. We're professional realtors and we've helped thousands of people here in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area, and we've helped hundreds of people who have relocated here from out of state or out of country, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're thinking about a move in 6 days or 6 months, go ahead and reach out to us with any questions you have. We're happy to help you identify the answers and help you find that perfect Texas home. Okay guys, let's jump right into the pros of living in the Fort Worth area of Texas. So one of the first things that you're gonna notice is this is a recurring theme on our channel, but it's the rich culture and the different multiple lifestyles that you're going to find not only in Dallas-Fort Worth, but even specifically just talking about Fort Worth in general. So we've got lots of different lifestyles that match almost anything you're looking for, from the downtown urban lifestyle to more of a cowboy culture, the rich Western heritage, to really small town feels. You get a little bit of everything right here in Fort Worth, even as much as the cultural district, where you're going to find lots of art and history and food and music scenes. So almost anything that you're looking for, you're going to find right here. So that downtown urban feel that we were talking about, if you go to Sundance Square, which is downtown Fort Worth, a really nice renovated area. They've got lots of shopping, lots of nightlife, lots of food, but a lot of people live in these high-rise apartment buildings or these renovated old buildings that they've turned into lofts. And they actually really don't ever leave downtown Fort Worth. Everything you want is right there within almost walking distance, if not a very short drive. But if you go a little bit north of there, you're going to get to the Stockyards, which is super rich in cowboy culture. You may have heard about this. They actually use the old streets, which are still lined in brick. They'll drive the cattle up the street every day. And when I say drive, I'm not talking about putting them in a car and driving them. I'm talking about the cowboys get on horses and they actually march the cattle up the middle of the street for all the tourists and the locals to come and watch. They do this about twice a day. It's a super big area for visitors. They've turned all of the old cattle pens into shopping and restaurants, and there's cowboy shows and gunfights and a little bit of everything. Big rodeo scene there. And you've also got Billy Bob's, which is, for all of you that don't know what this is, Billy Bob's Texas is the largest honky-tonk in the world. Now, you may not know what a honky-tonk is, but what that really means is it's a country dance hall. It's a huge venue, lots of music played there, lots of big stars come in and out playing concerts there, but it's a really cool sight to see. You can go to some of the outskirt towns and really almost get an extremely small town feel right there just in the Fort Worth area. And like I talked about the cultural district, we've got so many museums and high-end food scenes and music venues. There's almost something for everybody right here in the Fort Worth area. Pro number 2 about living in Fort Worth is going to be the weather. Now, you're going to notice that I'm going to use the weather as not only a pro, but also one of my big cons, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. But the weather here in Texas, especially in the winters, extremely mild. What we have here is temperatures that usually range between 40 and 60 degrees in the wintertime. And it allows us for year-round things like golf, year-round boating activities. The Dallas-Fort Worth area is actually home to almost 60 lakes that you can get to within about an hour. And so you're gonna have boating, fishing, skiing, jet skiing, kayaking. You're going to have all these things at your disposal year-round. There's tons of mountain bike trails and hiking trails that we have around our lakes, and people utilize those all year round. Now, do we ever get a freeze? Sure. Occasionally, it's very rare in Texas that we get below freezing. Usually we'll get what I call a dusting of snow every year, which lasts maybe about 12 hours before it melts off. But You may have heard of Snowmageddon. We had that a couple years ago. And yes, we had a week full of ice and really, really freezing temperatures. But that's not the norm here. It's really a rare occasion. But going back to that, we've got so many things that you can do sporting wise. I mentioned golf. Golf is huge here in Texas. And one of the things is that you can play it year round. Now, you may not want to play it in the heat of the summer, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So pro number 3 about living right here in the Fort Worth area is there's so much to do. Like we talked about this in the culture section, but there are so many things from museums to nightlife, music venues, but even beyond that, you've got Six Flags Over Texas, which is about a 15-minute drive from downtown Fort Worth. It's actually in Arlington, Texas, which is a suburb of Fort Worth, and it is a major attraction. Kids love it. It's very family friendly. They put on things during the year, so around Christmas, they'll decorate everything like Christmas, and they'll have outdoor fire pits, and the kids can come roast marshmallows. Around the Halloween time, which is almost now, they actually do a Fright Fest, and they all dress up, and it's really spooky. The kids get a little freaked out, but it's really cool. There's so much to do. Sporting events. You name it, we've got it. From the Dallas Cowboys right there, also about 15 minutes outside of Fort Worth. It's actually in Arlington. Don't know why they call them the Dallas Cowboys, but it's not Dallas. We also have the Texas Rangers right there side by side with the Cowboy Stadium. We've got the professional rodeo here, multiple rodeo venues. We actually have multiple minor league baseball. We've got professional soccer. We got the Dallas Stars. There's really not a single sport that we don't have access to. We got horse racing right around the corner in Grand Prairie. So if you're a sporting enthusiast, there's really something for almost everybody right here in Dallas-Fort Worth. Pro number 4 is going to be the job market. The job market here is hot. Guys, it is amazingly hot. There are tons of people moving here from out of state, from lots of states like California, from Illinois. We're seeing them from Washington, and they're coming here for the amount of jobs. So the job market is really, really hot. If you're looking for an opportunity, this is it. Texas is also, people don't know this about Texas, but they're very relaxed on a lot of their laws as opposed to some of the other states. So it's actually really, really easy to start your own business. And there's lots and lots of benefits of moving here for the job market. And tying to that, which is pro number 5, is we got no state income tax. So you will hear me talk a little bit about our property taxes being high, but it's offset by the fact that we don't tax your income. So that's why you're seeing a lot of not just people moving here for jobs, but corporate relocations happening left and right. We've had Toyota move in. We've had lots and lots of major companies come in. Tesla moved to Texas. They're all coming here and relocating because of the tax benefits that it is for the employer and for the employee. So lots of good benefits. If you want to know more about all the pros that there are to live here in Fort Worth, reach out to us. I'm happy to tell you, but I wanted to limit it to just 5 today. So let's jump into the cons. So the biggest con, let's talk about the elephant in the room. That's the tornadoes. I can't tell you how many times people have moved here from out of area, and the first question they want to know is, tell me about the tornadoes. Well, the truth is, are they a thing? Absolutely. People have this kind of a misconception that there is a tornado zone in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area, and that's not true. The truth is, tornadoes, they eat what they want to eat, okay? They land where they land, they pop up where they pop up, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. Now, I will tell you this. I was born, raised right here on the Fort Worth side of the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area, and I've been here my entire life, and I have never been in a tornado. That's a long time. Now, one time in my life have I actually seen a tornado, and it was about a mile away. I was standing outside taking pictures of it. That's how little it really affected me. But if you're afraid of tornadoes and you have that fear, there are things that we can do to overcome that. Historically, we would put in storm shelters or storm cellars, which were underground. Not super expensive to put in, but you kind of had a little bit of an eyesore in your backyard. But it was a place for families to go. You could have some food, you could have some electrical products, some flashlights, and be prepared in the event of a tornado warning or a tornado in the area. People would go down there, usually within about an hour, it's gone, you're coming back in the house, everything's great. Nowadays, they make these so that you can install them inside your house. So they're utilizing spaces like garages and putting in metal, essentially a metal room in your garage that's actually bolted to the floor. They're utilizing space under stairwells and putting in these metal rooms under there. And it's super easy, super secure. And you're able to just not even go outside in the weather, in the rain, to go down into your storm cellar. You just walk into a certain area of your house, close the door, lock the door. There's power connected to it as long as power's on, but you still got your flashlights, you still got your food, and you, your family, your pets are safe during that. Now, I do find it something that I always like to mention to people moving here is that what you're really going to find more than tornadoes is hail. We're going to get a lot of hail. We're going to get a lot of high wind. So hail is something that you get used to. It really only happens about once a year in the spring, usually around the April, May, June area. We'll have a season that's kind of tornado season. It's also kind of hail season. Hail is going to do far more damage to your house or your property than the tornadoes ever will. But the hail, we usually don't get much more than about pea size, maybe dime size. However, I will say that I've seen it as much as baseball, softball size, but that doesn't happen very often. The last time I remember seeing anything that size, it was about 20 years ago, and I haven't seen it since, and I never saw it before that. But it's possible, and I do think it's important to talk about the fact that hail is a much more occurring item and wind than the tornadoes. So if you want more information about that, give us a call. We're happy to provide that. So let's roll into con number 2. I'm going to stay with the theme of weather here, and it's going to be the heat. Guys, in the summertime, it is hot, 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 hot. It'll almost melt your tires. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't actually melt your tires on your car, but it is hot. And so we will typically have time in the summers where we will go 30 to 45 days with no rain and 30 to 45 days with temperatures that are just above 100, high 90s, low 100s. Occasionally we'll see it get up to about 109, 110. We do kind of have a little bit more of a humid heat than, say, Arizona, which is a very hot state, but a very dry state. And so there's a lot of things that are going to play into this. So when it's really hot, obviously pools are premium. People love pools, especially those moving here from out of state. Homes with pools go for much higher prices generally. But I have a pool. I spend a lot of time in my pool when it's in the heat of the summer. I jokingly say I go from my pool to work and then back to my pool again in the evening. But you're going to want to utilize that. Now, if you don't have a pool, that's okay. Like I said, there's almost 60 different lakes right here within about an hour drive in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And so the lake life is really, really big here. But you can go down to the lake, you can cool off, you can spend some time on the weekend with the family, boating, fishing, skiing, swimming. But there's also water parks here. So we've got Hurricane Harbor right across the street from Six Flags. We've got multiple smaller water parks that are all over the Metroplex. We've got indoor water parks that people utilize in the winter, and most of them are outside. But this is a great way to spend time in the summer, keeping cool, having fun, and still spending time with the family. So con number 3, let's talk about con number 3. This is the traffic here in Texas. Now, if you're moving here from South California, maybe LA, San Francisco, traffic may be totally different from you. Now there's a joke that here in Texas, we don't judge distance by the mile, we judge distance by time. So you'll hear people say, oh, I want to live an hour from work, or I want to live 30 minutes from my office, or I want to do this or that. And that's a pretty common occurrence here, because the truth is you can get from the one side of the Metroplex to the far other side in about an hour in most cases. So I have people that come here and they're used to living in California, and they're used to driving 10 miles to work, but it takes them 45 minutes to get there. That's not really the case here. But when I talk about traffic, there are a lot of people moving to Texas, especially North Texas. And so it is a lot of traffic. But the beauty of this is that there's so many roads to get where you're going. So I utilize Waze. Waze looks ahead and finds those traffic opportunities and actually tells me to avoid them. So it's rare that I sit in traffic, and if you utilize that, it's be rare that you sit in traffic unless you're really living or working in downtown Fort Worth or downtown Dallas. But there are many, many roads and many, many options to get around traffic here. But you're gonna have to have a car. In Texas, in North Texas, it is very, very rare that someone can live and function without a vehicle. We do have Uber. We do have we don't really have mass transportation, public transportation. I will say this, it's available if you live in downtown Fort Worth or if you live in downtown Dallas, but you're not really going to be able to get outside of the downtown area with public transportation very easily. So I do tell people, if you're moving here from New York and you're used to not having a vehicle, be prepared to go ahead and spend the money on a vehicle, and be prepared to spend money on a vehicle that has a good air conditioning system. You're definitely going to want to have air conditioning in the heat of the summer. Okay, so con number 4, allergies. If you suffer from allergies, don't skip this part, because you're really going to want to know about this. Here in North Texas, we actually do have a pretty high pollen count during certain times of the year. Now, it's not year round, but certain times of the year, we do have a lot of pollen. And so you're going to want to know about that. If you have allergies, talk to your doctor. Let's do some research. Let's find out about it. Let's make sure we know what areas are going to best suit you. Con number 5. I told you about the property taxes. Let's talk about property taxes. Property taxes are a little bit high. Let's talk sticker shock. So a lot of people moving here, they see the home prices are actually lower than the national average, and that's true. You can get a lot more for your money here in North Texas when you're buying a house, but then they see the property taxes and it's sticker shock. It's like, oh my gosh. So the reason we have higher property taxes is because we don't have a state income tax. This is how we have to make some of our money to fix roads, to go to schools, to improve our cities. All of these things are coming out of your property taxes. They are a little bit higher, but the good news is they're not all the same. So there are areas which have a little bit lower property tax. Certain counties in the Dallas-Fort Worth area have a much lower property tax. So if property tax is something you're concerned about and you want to know more, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'll help you identify areas that have lower property taxes and will result in a lower overall monthly payment for your house. Hope you guys enjoyed this video about life here in North Texas and the top 5 pros and the top 5 cons. If you've got any further questions, feel free to reach out to us. Again, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring that bell so you're notified of all of our future videos. We're looking forward to helping you in the future, and we'd love to hear from you.